Are you worried that it might be too late to start an Airbnb business? Make sure you subscribe and watch more of my videos to learn how to start your first Airbnb business without owning property. Hey everyone, my name is Jorge Contreras and I'm about to show you why 2022 might be the very best year to start your Airbnb business. Now the truth is that there is still some certainty in the world. So is it truly the best time to start an Airbnb? Here are a few reasons why it is the perfect time to start an Airbnb business today. Well, look, as of right now, April 2022, so many of these mandates have actually been lifted. So many of these travel restrictions have actually been lifted. Even the mask mandates in almost all areas have been lifted, outdoor and indoor. And one of the things that I truly believe is that we've been creating sort of like this rubber band effect where when the world shut down in March of 2020, people stopped traveling, right? And so there was like this rubber band, meaning it kept pulling back where people were not able to travel, not able to leave their house. They were starting to work from home, and people have gotten sick and tired of being stuck at home. And now that things have actually been lifted, this rubber band effect, right? Boom, like people are just gonna start traveling like crazy, especially this summer, I believe, of 2022. And we are already starting to notice the bookings drastically ramp up in all of our properties in all the 7 cities that we are currently operating. And then I have over 3,000 students that I personally coached over the last 4 years who are all over the US. Like whatever state you live in, if you live in the US, trust me, we have a handful of students or more. And in all areas, short-term rentals have really picked up even more. I believe that 2022 is going to break the record that was set in 2019 as far as travel, because for 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, the numbers kept growing as to the amount of listings and revenue that Airbnb hosts made. And then in 2020, there was a drop, right, for obvious reasons. Then in 2021, it picked up, but was still lower than 2019. And 2022 is already on track to be higher than where 2021 was. And look, here's the thing. There are a lot of people right now that I have seen who are waiting in the sidelines for this perfect time. And during the whole shutdown and the pandemic, they used that as an excuse to not start their Airbnb business. And then later on, it was the wars, and later on, it was something else. And I've noticed that procrastinators have become really good at always finding a reason, an excuse to not take action on their goals. Now, some things can be very legitimate, right? I'm not being insensitive to those things, but for the most part, people that are natural procrastinators, they just even if there was no pandemic, nothing going on, it could be time, it could be money, it could be work, it could be family, like they just always find a reason. And I've learned when I look at the successful people that I surround myself, when I look at my successful Airbnb business and just successful people in general, the perfect time doesn't exist. It's whenever you decide that it is the perfect time. And I've learned over the last 15 years of being an entrepreneur that the way it always makes sense is in hindsight. It's when you look back, when those months and those years pass by and your business has done extremely well and you're like, wow, I'm so glad that I took action. But these people that are waiting on the sidelines, again, they're waiting for this perfect time that will never arrive. So just take action. Here's another thing that if you are concerned whether it's the perfect time, I want to go over a specific strategy that actually helped me during the pandemic. And that is to create a staycation experience in your short-term rental. Let me break it down like this. When everything shut down, yes, there was a lot of people who were doing Airbnbs right in March and April of 2020, and their numbers drastically dropped as far as revenue and occupancy. Now, we did have a drop, but it was not significant. In fact, starting in May, things really started to pick up, and they only got better and better after that. It was just for that 2-week period when the NBA shut down and the whole world shut down. It was like the second half of March that, did negatively impact us. But because of this strategy, creating a staycation experience worked out really well. And here's what I mean. Yes, there was a lot of people who actually stopped traveling by plane. But what it did, it created an increase of people traveling by car. Now, by creating a staycation experience, what we did even before the shutdowns is we actually started hosting properties where we had a pool, a jacuzzi, and a game room. And again, what it did is all the people who were sick and tired of waiting at home, not being able to travel out of the country or by plane, it created a demand and an increase of travel by car. So people from the very same city or nearby cities actually started staying at our properties. People that wanted to social distance and get away from their small apartments or condos where there was no social distancing and there was hallways, that they shared with everyone else who lived in those apartments, or even sharing the elevators, right? They wanted to stay at one of my single family homes where they had a pool, a spa, and a game room, and they wanted to have a great experience with their families. So if you implement that staycation experience, it is something that, again, even if there was something crazy that were to happen, it will make a huge difference in your revenue and occupancy. Hey, so if you're enjoying the content and you're ready to start your Airbnb business, make sure you hit that like button. Here's a couple more things that you should consider when getting cold feet when it comes to starting your Airbnb business. Here's one of my philosophies, and it is do what you can with what you have where you are. For example, let's say that you want to start your short-term rental business as soon as possible, but maybe you don't have the capital to start with a large, say 3 or 4 bedroom house. Well, don't let that hold you back, because if you wait until you get X amount of money to finally start with this larger property, you're gonna miss out on months and months, maybe even years of experience, of actual experience of starting your Airbnb business. So what I mean by when I say do what you can with what you have where you are is if your finances are limited, you can always start with a studio. You can start with a 1-bedroom apartment. You can start with a small townhome or a small condo, because it's going to be a fraction of the cost of starting with a full-on single-family residence. Then you'll get that experience, you'll start to bring in that cash flow, you could reinvest your money and then go into the bigger properties where you could potentially have a better and higher return on investment. But again, don't wait until you have the capital to start with the larger one. Do what you can with what you have where you are. Start with the smaller properties and then build up from there. Because here's the thing, yes, the cash flow, the passive income is why most people get into this business. But one thing that people oversee is who you become in the process of starting this Airbnb business. Because yes, there's gonna be a lot of, kinks to work through. There's gonna be a lot of, maybe mistakes that you make, but guess what? Those mistakes bring you growth. You grow, you learn. Like I always say, I'm either gonna win or I'm gonna learn. So if things don't go the way that I expected them to be, well, I learned something that helped me be wiser, smarter, and helps me go bigger, better, faster, stronger for the next opportunity. So yes, the finances are great, but what's also important is who you become in the process. And if you wait for that perfect time when you have the perfect credit, the perfect finances, you're gonna miss out on the personal growth and actual experience that in many cases can be even more valuable than the cash flow. The next mindset framework that I want to share here is that it's not always about how much you know. It's not so much about having all the strategies and all the techniques. It really comes down to 2 things. And again, it's really connected to mindset. And it is that what's actually going to help you be successful is not necessarily knowing everything. That mindset of perfectionist creates procrastination, because whenever you want to know everything in order to take action, you actually end up just procrastinating, right? Because that perfect place of knowing everything doesn't exist. So instead, it is 1, your ability to take action fast, and 2, your ability to pivot as necessary. Now, I hope that these two mindset frameworks will support you. I know that they've supported myself and thousands of the students that I personally mentored over the years when starting an Airbnb business. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I do have some links in the description from free upcoming trainings to my free ebook and so much more. Make sure you guys download the ebook, check out the other links to learn how to start your Airbnb business without owning property in the next 30 days or less. And don't go anywhere. Make sure you guys check out one of these other videos where I cover how to speak to property owners or how to increase your revenue and occupancy and so much more. See you on the next one.